We have all seen videos of the new Model Y, how it looks, how it charges, and even how it sounds. But let's run a test how it's accelerating from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour during different state of charges. Does it give full discharge throughout the entire cycle, or does it suddenly drop during a certain number? Let's find out together. Right behind me, I have our brand new Model Y Juniper, which was built in 2025 in Giga Berlin. It comes with a big long-range battery, which has about 82 kilowatt hours of energy in it. It also has two motors, which makes it all-wheel drive, one at the front and one at the back. And the combined output between both of them is over 400 horsepower. But if that's not enough for you, you can go inside the Tesla app and add additional 50 horsepower to it, just by purchasing it for about 2,000 euros, which is a little overkill, but this is what this car has. It also rocks the 20-inch rims, rocking Michelin Pilot Sport EV tires. I'm interested to see how fast it's gonna go 0 to 100 kilometers an hour with our test, because Tesla claims it should do around 4.3 seconds, which is crazy for an SUV which weighs just under 2,000 kilograms. But that's enough talking. Let's head over and get ready for our first launch. And to get the most accurate results during each run, I'm gonna be using a tool called Racebox Pro. You might have seen Matt Watson using it during all of his launches, and this is what this gadget does. It measures acceleration, drag and lap times, as well as other stats, but also it gives you a cool feature which is called overlay. Yes, it puts the data right on top of your video and makes the user experience way better, and this is something we're gonna be doing in this video. And this little box here contains multiple GPSs, gyroscopes, and it's done with precise coding. And if you wanna learn more about it, I'm gonna leave a link in the description of this video. Let's race. All right, let's do it. I'm super excited, especially as a guy who drives a Tesla, which has a standard range battery with only one motor. But right now we are at 96% state of charge. The battery is at 33 degrees Celsius, which is pretty warm. And it also has about 400 kilowatts of maximum discharge. At least the Sexy app shows us that. I'm also having a tile that is going to show me the max reach power that the car is going to do during this acceleration test, so I'm super excited about. Let's set up the Racebox Pro tool. All right, let's put the car in drive. It also is in sport mode, and let's hit it. 3, 2, 1. Wow, that's so fast. 4.21. 4.21. Tesla claims that it should do 4.3, which technically we have done it a little bit faster, and there's zero elevation, at least shown by the Racebox Pro. Wow, that was impressive number. I'm super excited to see how much discharge I'm going to receive with the next test. But right now, the car gave me 390 max reached power, which is a little bit lower than the official number that the BMS system tells us that it can actually do. But let's drain the battery with 20%, do the same test again and again and again until we reach 1% state of charge. Yes, I want to do 6 launches today and see how this number is gonna translate when it comes to discharge and how much slower we're gonna be doing 0 to 100 kilometers an hour with each single launch. Let's test it. Oh, and by the way, if you like this type of content, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, because a lot of videos like this are coming soon. All right, I'm at 79% state of charge. However, before I do the next launch, I want to point out something really interesting. I was draining the battery for the past 20 minutes using every trick in the book, preheating the battery, running the AC, everything you can imagine. But the interesting part is that the maximum discharge as a number, which is provided from the BMS to the Sexy app, increased by 1 kilowatt instead of dropping down, which is very interesting. So if you remember from the previous launch when we were almost at 100% state of charge, the max reached power, which we were able to do, was about 390, I believe. I'm interested to see if that number is also going to increase. So let's not waste any more time and just step on the accelerator. Launch number 2 at 79% state of charge. 3, 2, 1. All right. Woo! 4.2. The same result. Absolutely the same result. No difference. But the max reach power that we got as a number is 390 89.4 kilowatts. So it's about a kilowatt less. It's not a huge difference, but it means that I still get the same performance, even though the battery is not giving as much discharge to the motors as it was during the first run. And that's going to be an interesting comparison to see throughout the whole video. If that number is going to constantly keep dropping down, but the performance is going to stay in the same numbers, because in the older cars, lower state of charge you are at, less discharge you get, which reflects in the slower performance during the acceleration. I'm interested to see if that changed with this battery and this technology. So let's not waste any more time, no more talking. Let's do launch 3, 4, and 5 at 59, 39, and 19% state of charge back to back. Three, two, one. Oh, okay, nice. 100. 4.55. All right, even at 20% state of charge, the car is still performing really well. Yes, it dropped in performance, especially on the last 3 runs. So what we see so far is that when the car is fully charged, and when it's on 80%, it gives the same amount of discharge, slightly below 400 kilowatts. However, right now I see through the Sexy app that there are 330 kilowatts available for max discharge, but with the last launch that we just did at 20% state of charge, the car only received 327 kilowatts. It's way lower than the 392 or whatever the number was that in the beginning, so you can definitely feel the difference. So I would say for now, what I can tell is that it's gradually dropping down after the 80th% and lower. But we have one more test to do. Let's drain the battery all the way down to 1%, do a final launch, and see the final result. And there you have it. Finally, we were able to drain the battery all the way down to 1%. Even Tesla tells us that there might be a chance that there are no charging locations nearby. So guys, that's gonna be the pinnacle of this test, how fast the car can go. By the way, the Sexy app tells us that the battery can give up to 246 kilowatts to the motors at the moment. This is way lower than the beginning, but I'm going to be really interested to see how fast we're going to accelerate 0 to 100 kilometers an hour with our finest launch. You ready to do it? Let's go for it. 3, 2, 1. Oh, come on. Vehicle consumes battery. No way. Okay, the car doesn't want me to launch. Let's try it again. 3, 2, 1. There's still kick. Go, 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 go. Woo! 4.99. All right, to be honest, I'm super happy it's under 5 seconds. It sounds better. But anyway, reaching those speeds in under 5 seconds for a car that's that heavy at 1%, that's impressive. Good job, Tesla, because many different EV brands are not going to be able to perform that well at this state of charge. Well, there you have it. We've been running this test for over 7 hours. We're super exhausted, but in conclusion, we can say that if you want to get full discharge from your car, make sure to charge your battery to at least 80% or more. There's no difference between 80 and 100, so no need to go any further up. However, when the percentage was dropping lower, so was the discharge. But still, the result, even at 1% state of charge, was amazing because nobody would expect this car to go so fast at such a low rate. But we had a lot of fun, and since the car is almost dying, we need to head over to the nearest charging station, otherwise there's not going to be any more videos. Thank you for watching, and I'm going to see you in the next one.